So that man was out of air. When I was talking to him and telling him about my opinion, he couldn't breathe. He was feeling disrespect by me. This is why it's so important that you know how to put your ideas. And I read a book, and it was from Anthony Robbins. And he said that we should never say that people are wrong. And even he gives us an idea. He says that we should say something like this: you are right, and this is something else beyond this. So instead of putting your idea against his idea, you put your idea, your opinion, as if it was adding to his idea. And see, don't say something. It's very interesting in Brazil. Someone told me sometime, you're right. Wrong are the people who agree with you. So, that's the same as saying that you are wrong. But other important things that when you are in an argument, when we are arguing with someone, how much percentage of chance you have of being wrong or of being right? What do you think? How much? 52, okay. There was a president, very loved president in the United States, that he said that if he would be 75% of times right, he would be really happy and proud of himself. And it was one very loved president of the United States. But what about you and me? What percentage or how many times you expect to be right? And I would say that it's 50%. But when we are disagreeing with people, when we are arguing with them, we pretend to be right. And my friends, we don't discuss about our ideas. We don't discuss about our opinions. We discuss to show that we are important. And that's the problem. That is why it's so hard for people to accept new ideas. It's so hard to people respect other people's opinions. Because it's not what they think and what I think. The important is, who is important here? You or me? And if you are important, I am inferior. But I don't want to be inferior. I have to be important at your cost. So for me to be important, you have to be wrong. And I have to be right. So when you separate this feeling of importance, of communication, my friends, is heaven. Can you imagine? Can you think when you have an idea, your wife, your spouse has another idea? And that the Bible says that in the multitude of counselings, right, there is wisdom. And this is why God created man and woman, because they have different points of views, and one adds to the other. So this is so important to listen to people's opinions, to think about to value their opinions. See, it doesn't mean that you have to be a people pleaser, or that you don't have your beliefs, your values. You can have your beliefs, your values, but you don't need to be afraid of listening to people's ideas. You don't need to be insecure that you can't listen to people's opinions, consider what they think, and you are going to be, because of this, you're going to be inferior. But something very interesting that I read it in a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And let me tell you, this is one of the best books I read in my life. It was written in 1936, so it's 70 years, but it's wonderful, really wonderful. And he said something that when someone tell you their opinion, their idea, if it's different of your opinion, instead of saying, oh, I don't accept this, you are wrong, what you need to say is, I may be wrong. And many times I am wrong. So I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to consider, I'm going to think about what you are saying. And then you need to really to do this. Think about what the person is saying. Sometimes the person says the same thing you say, but with other words. But sometimes for us, it's so important to argue with the person, to show that we are right. And it's an addiction. Sometimes the person says exactly what you think, and you want to contradict the other person, just for an addiction. So my friends, we need to be open to people's opinion. And realize this, the most important in communication, and not only in communication, in everything in life, you want to be happy, value people, make people feel important. We are all the time with people who are trying to feel important. We want people to realize, to recognize that we are important. We want to be heard. We want to talk about our feats. We want to brag about ourselves. We want to show our knowledge. But my friends, the most important thing in communication is making people feel important. Think all of the time about this. Am I making this person feel important? One of the best ways to make people feel important is listening to them. Another thing, complimenting people. When they say something, compliment them. When they do something, compliment them. I was reading about a research that they conducted some years ago, and they discovered that a person 18 years old heard the word no or you can't do it 248,000 times. And it is the equivalent to 22 or 23 times per day through all a person's life. And another research that I have heard is that it's necessary 3 compliments to heal a criticism. And sometimes we are so prone to criticize, and it's so hard to compliment. My friends, compliment is never too much.